if I could go back and change it, I wouldn't change a thing. I think I was where I was supposed to be.
He came from nowhere, no scholarship offers, no guarantee he'd make it. But Josh Allen didn't just become Buffalo's quarterback, he became Buffalo itself. Today we uncover exactly how one man quietly built an empire so massive that the entire city bends to his will. What we found will shock you. The underdog WHO became Buffalo. The story of Josh Allen in Buffalo isn't one of a man who came to a city and conquered it with calculated moves and master plans. It's something far more organic, far more powerful. It's the story of a kid from nowhere meeting a city that had been waiting for someone like him their entire existence. And when those two forces collided, something remarkable happened. Not because anyone planned it, but because they were meant for each other. Let's rewind to the very beginning, back to when nobody believed in Josh Allen, not even the people who were supposed to believe in him. Josh Allen was born on May 21, 1996 in Fireball, California, a small town where cotton farms stretched across the landscape like a quilt, and where his family had been farming for generations. This wasn't some small suburban neighborhood. This was real agricultural country. His great-grandfather was a Swedish immigrant who had settled during the Great Depression, planting roots so deep that they became the foundation for everything that came after. Josh's father, Joel, and his mother, LaVon, met while attending California Polytechnic State University, and they built their lives around the land, around family, and around an unwavering work ethic. Growing up on that cotton farm shaped everything about Josh Allen, every single thing. He worked on the farm, helped at his mother's restaurant called The Farmer's Daughter, and was active in FFA, Future Farmers of America, earning national recognition in diversified crop production. This wasn't a kid who had things handed to him. This was a kid who woke up before sunrise and understood what it meant to work for something. His parents instilled in him what his father showed him every single day. If you want something, you earn it. You don't ask permission. You don't wait for someone to discover you. You prove yourself so undeniably that they have no choice but to see you. But here's where the story gets interesting, because nobody was seeing him, not yet.
I'm amazed by your story. You grew up on a farm. What'd you learn from that?
I think the most important thing seeing from my parents is just, one, how tight-knit our family was, and the football team is very much like a family. And then two, the hard work that my dad showed to us as kids, you know, waking up before sunrise, coming home after sunset, and making sure that there's food on the table.
As a multi-sport athlete at Fireball High School, Josh showed promise. He had a strong arm. He had athleticism. But the college recruiters, they didn't see it. Or maybe they did and didn't care. Josh was a wee little lad coming out of high school junior year. He was probably 6'1", 160 pounds soaking wet, so there was no real interest from major schools. His senior year, he felt like he got bigger, heavier, and threw the ball pretty decently. Still nothing. No FBS scholarship offers came. Not a single one from the big programs. The rejection was complete, so Josh did what kids with nowhere else to go do. He went to junior college. He attended Reedley College, JUCO, where he had a strong season with 25 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He became the starter. He led a high-powered offense. And he started emailing FBS coaches, literally reaching out to them and asking, "Do you want to see what I can do?" That's the desperation of a kid who knows he's good, but can't get anyone to pay attention. That's hunger. That's the kind of hunger that changes people. He committed to Wyoming after limited interest, and even had an offer from Eastern Michigan withdrawn. Can you imagine that? Getting an offer and having it taken away? But at Wyoming, something shifted. He redshirted in 2015 after a collarbone injury in his first start, broke out in 2016 with 203 passing yards and 28 touchdowns, and had a solid 2017 despite a shoulder injury, leading to famous Idaho Potato Bowl MVP honors. The raw prospect with size, arm talent, and athleticism was finally starting to show what he could do.
So I get why there was no real interest. Then my senior year, I felt like I got a little bit bigger, a little heavier. Felt like I could throw the ball pretty decently and still
I'm
nothing.
sure you could.
So went the junior college route and only started about 6 or 7 games there. But got one opportunity at the University of Wyoming and I took it.
But the scouts still weren't fully convinced. When the Buffalo Bills drafted him 7th overall in 2018, most people thought they'd made a mistake. Most people thought the Bills had gotten desperate, had looked at this tall, athletic, inaccurate kid from Wyoming, and had somehow convinced themselves he could be great. The media didn't believe in him. The national analysts didn't believe in him. Even some of the Bills' own fan base wasn't convinced. But something different happened in Buffalo. Somewhere in that cold, blue-collar city in western New York, people recognized themselves in Josh Allen.
Yeah, if I could go back and change it, I wouldn't change a thing. I think I was where I was supposed to be. It taught me a lot about myself, how to handle adversity, I mean, just so many life lessons, again, that I probably wouldn't have learned if I was a big recruit, if I did go to, a big school.
Buffalo is a city that understands underdogs because Buffalo is an underdog. This is a place where the Bills hadn't been to a Super Bowl in 30 years. This is a place where the weather comes down sideways, where the wind whips through the stadium in ways that make normal quarterbacks look foolish. This is a place where fans have been beaten down by heartbreak so many times that they've developed an almost spiritual resilience. And then Josh Allen walked into their lives looking like someone who understood that same feeling. He didn't come from a dynasty. He didn't come from a program that groomed him for stardom. He came from a farm. He came from nowhere. He came with everything to prove and nothing to lose.
How is this team different than the teams you've played on in the past?
We got a little younger this offseason, and everybody wanted to write us off. We understood that, but I think the expectations were extremely low outside of the building, but inside this building with the guys that we have in this locker room, we're so internally driven here that it doesn't matter what anybody else is going to say about us.
And that's the thing about Josh Allen that Buffalo fell in love with. It was never just about football. It was about seeing a kid who came from nothing, who had worked for everything, who refused to be anything less than completely honest about his journey, and saying, that's our guy. That's who represents us. Because Buffalo doesn't celebrate flash. Buffalo celebrates grit. Buffalo celebrates people who show up and do the work, who don't make excuses, who get knocked down and get back up. Josh Allen is all of those things wrapped into one person, and the moment he stepped into Buffalo, it was like the city had been waiting for him his entire existence. The empire nobody saw coming. How one man became everywhere in one city. By 2024, something extraordinary had happened. Josh Allen wasn't just the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills anymore. He had become a cultural phenomenon. He had become the center of a city's entire universe. And the fascinating part, he didn't do it through some calculated strategic takeover. He did it by simply being himself, by being present, and by investing in the place that had invested in him. But the result was undeniable. Josh Allen had quietly built an empire in Buffalo. Not a business empire in the traditional sense, but something far more powerful, a cultural empire. Start with the most obvious manifestation of this power. His presence is literally everywhere in Western New York. A massive Gatorade billboard featuring Allen overlooked Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo for months around 2024, with extensions approved, and became a fan symbol and point of pride so much that locals fought to keep it up. His face isn't on just one billboard though. His face and jersey are ubiquitous on clothing, cars, yards, Christmas lights, menus, and even produced like his family's California melons sold locally. This isn't exaggeration. This is documented, verifiable ubiquity. Walk through Buffalo and you see Josh Allen everywhere. You see him in store windows. You see him on buildings. You see him in people's yards during football season. The visual saturation is almost overwhelming, and it all happened organically. A street sign in West Seneca honors him. Think about that for a second. Not a statue, not a mural, though those exist too, but an actual street sign. That's reserved for people who've defined a place. That's reserved for people who've become part of the fabric of where they live. But the real empire building, that's where it gets interesting. In 2025, something shifted. New era cap. The Buffalo-based company made Josh Allen their first ambassador with an equity stake in 2025. This isn't just a sponsorship deal where he shows up, smiles, and collects a check. This is him becoming a partner in the company's future. This is him having a real stake in a local institution. He's director of Billustration, designing fan caps often with kids and tying into community givebacks. This is the closest he's come to building what anyone would traditionally call an empire. And then there's the real estate. Josh Allen didn't just move to Buffalo for the season and rent something. He invested in the land itself. He bought a 3,600 square foot home on about 15 acres shortly after being drafted in 2018 for $659,900. But that wasn't enough. In 2021, he bought a 31-acre plot via an LLC for $500, and began construction around 2022 on a custom home around 60 square feet on a large private secluded lot with features including a swimming pool, pool house, sports court for basketball and tennis, and even a private par 3 golf hole with a small lake for fishing. This is worth approximately $4 to $46 million and is roughly 8 minutes from the stadium. He's also acquired additional properties in the region. This isn't a guy renting an apartment during the season. This is a guy who bought and built his way into the community.
Let's talk about the weather. How do you describe Buffalo's weather?
You can't, I don't know if you guys can tell through the windows or not,
It's
but
coming down sideways.
It's coming down sideways. There's going to be some wind.
But here's what's remarkable. Josh Allen's empire isn't built on exclusivity. It's built on accessibility. It's built on a quarterback who, despite being one of the most talented athletes on the planet, continues to show up like a regular person. He shows up at local events. He visits schools. He's seen in Buffalo area restaurants and establishments. The merchandising around him, the unofficial but ubiquitous jerseys, the custom t-shirts, the hats, the local tributes, all of that speaks to something deeper deeper. It speaks to the fact that Buffalo hasn't just adopted Josh Allen as their quarterback. They've adopted him as their representation. He's become what they see when they look in the mirror and ask, who are we as a city? And this ties directly to his business ventures beyond New Era. But more personally, he's invested in the land itself through a pistachio operation on family land in California, aiming for significant acreage and revenue. He's diversifying like a smart business person should. He's not putting all his eggs in the NFL basket, but his heart, his real investment that's in Buffalo real estate. What makes this empire unique is that it doesn't feel like an empire. It feels like something that happened naturally. Fans and media describe him as the center of Buffalo's universe. Allen has revitalized excitement in a long-suffering sports market, and Bills fans in the city see him as a humble, hardworking leader who gets Buffalo, small market grit, loyalty, and blue-collar values. His success, his MVP honors, his playoff runs, all of it has boosted regional pride and the local economy through tourism, merchandise, and stadium-related activity. But then there's the personal side. He split time with California properties, including one tied to wife Haley Steinfeld, but Buffalo is his NFL season base, anchoring him physically in the community. This is a man who could live anywhere during the offseason. He could disappear to California, to some tropical island, to anywhere celebrities go when they want to escape. Instead, he stays in Buffalo. He builds homes in Buffalo. He invests in Buffalo. That choice, made year after year, is what transforms a quarterback into an empire builder, because he's building more than real estate. He's building legacy. The greatest legacy. What happens when a city falls in love with its hero? If Josh Allen's visible empire, the billboards, the real estate, the New Era partnership is the skeleton of his dominance in Buffalo, then his philanthropy is the soul. This is where you see the real power of what's happened. This is where you understand that Josh Allen didn't take over Buffalo through force or calculation. He took over through love. In 2020, something happened that would define Josh Allen's relationship with Buffalo forever. His grandmother, Patricia Allen, passed away. And in that moment of personal grief, something extraordinary occurred.
No,
Get the life that it has, dude.
absolutely not. And to your point, that Seahawks game when my grandmother passed, nobody knew. I had told Coach Dable, and I'm not sure how one fan found out, but he had tweeted it and was like, hey, let's donate $17 in honor of Josh's grandmother. And I woke up the next day and it was like $9,000.
$17, that was the number. Josh's jersey number 1 fan saw the pain, understood the connection, and suggested that people donate $17 in Patricia's honor. And within hours, that number had exploded into thousands of dollars. Within days, it had become a movement through that, raising $1 million initially, and then it got a life of its own until well over $5 million through West Air, and all this stuff was raised from that foundation. All of that went to O'Shea's Children's Hospital, where Josh has been able to build his own wing and give back to these kids something that parents can't calculate the value of. This became the Patricia Allen Fund. Named after his late grandmother, it has raised over $17 million for O'Shea Children's Hospital by 2025-2026. This started with grief. This started with a kid losing his grandmother, and it transformed into something that's changed the lives of countless children and families in Buffalo.
And I actually got the privilege to speak to a kid not too long ago who had 5 different surgeries, and life was saved with the equipment bought from the fund.
Hey.
So like it's
Fuck
freaking
yeah,
cool.
dude.
I really
Let's
appreciate
talk
you bringing
about
it up.
But the Patricia Allen Fund isn't just about writing checks. Josh shows up. Physically, he visits the hospital. He spends time with kids. He's not a celebrity who phones it in. He's a quarterback who puts his phone down and says hello to families who are going through the hardest time of their lives.
It's so easy to go and just visit some of these kids. You know, put the phones down. No cameras. Just go in and say hello to families and kids that are going through a hard time, and see their days brighten just by somebody showing up and letting them know that we do care.
Josh participates in Make-A-Wish visits, school surprises with teammates, and other local causes. He has partnered on MVP cereal donations and other events benefiting local kids and hospitals. For his 30th birthday in 2026, he launched a charity cap with New Era, supporting Western New York families via the Patricia Allen Fund. This isn't one big gesture and then silence. This is year after year of consistent, tangible action. But maybe the most powerful thing about Josh Allen's relationship with Buffalo has nothing to do with money or buildings or real estate. It has to do with how he treats people.
I want to say I am so proud of Mitch Morse.
Oh,
I know that this is maybe outside of your comfort zone, and you've been fantastic. I'm so happy to be along on this journey with you. I love you. You are not just a great teammate, not just a great human, but a great husband and a great father.
This is a quarterback showing up publicly and celebrating the people around him. This is a guy who understands that his platform, his voice, his influence, these things matter, and he uses them to lift people up. The connection between Josh Allen and Bills Mafia, that's what people call the passionate fan base, is something that goes beyond normal player-fan dynamics. Allen frequently praises Bills Mafia for their loyalty, energy, and generosity, noting the connection goes far beyond football. And they reciprocate that love with an intensity that's almost spiritual.
Like you think of 2017, when he first playoffs, you get Andy Dalton $400,000 from Bills Mafia. You get 2021, you get Lamar Jackson $250,000. You get the Punt Foundation with Dawson, another $250,000. And then the one that stood out to me the most was the Patricia Allen Fund, right? Like, that's unbelievable. We talk about 2020, that really tumultuous day.
Bills Mafia has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to various charities in honor of Josh Allen and other players. They've created their own traditions, their own culture, their own way of showing that this isn't just about football anymore. This is about family. This is about a community that's found something to believe in. And Josh understands this. He has spoken emotionally about Buffalo becoming home and giving back. He embodies resilience and gives back in ways that resonate locally. This isn't a guy who's counting down the days until he can leave Western New York and enjoy his success somewhere warmer, somewhere more glamorous. He has expressed deep thankfulness for the community and Bills Mafia, and his long-term commitment through extensions keeping him in Buffalo reinforced this bond. When you talk about Josh Allen's empire in Buffalo, what you're really talking about is something that's transcended traditional definitions of power and influence. In summary, Josh Allen's dominance stems from elite play combined with cultural alignment, humility, and tangible community investment. He's revitalized Bills fandom and given Western New York a modern hero who reflects its values. He has achieved extraordinary cultural dominance and relevance in Western New York, particularly Buffalo, becoming far more than just the Buffalo Bills star quarterback. He is a unifying local icon, de facto community symbol, an embodiment of the region's resilient underdog identity. But what happens next? What's the trajectory of someone who has already done this much, changed this much, impacted this many lives? Josh signed a massive 6-year, $330 million extension in 2025 to play through 2030 at approximately $55 million annually with heavy guarantees. This is more than just a contract. This is a statement. This is him saying, I'm staying, I'm not leaving. Buffalo is home at 30 years old. As of 2026, Josh is in his prime. His career stats through approximately 128 games show approximately 2,615 completions on 488 attempts for 3,102 passing yards, with 220 touchdowns and 94 interceptions, plus 4,721 rushing yards and 79 rushing touchdowns. He holds numerous records, including most career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback at 79, surpassing Cam Newton's 75 in 2025. But more importantly, he's proven that he's figured it out. He's evolved from a raw prospect with potential into a complete quarterback. In 2024, he won the NFL MVP award, beating Lamar Jackson, becoming the first Bills quarterback to win the award. He earned 4 Pro Bowl selections, 2 second-team All-Pro selections, the Art Rooney Award for Sportsmanship, and FedEx Air Player of the Year in 2024. These aren't just individual accomplishments. These are validations that everything he's built, his work ethic, his character, his commitment to excellence, all of it matters. And on the personal front, Josh married actress Hailee Steinfeld in a private ceremony in May 2025, and they welcomed their first child, a daughter, in April 2026. His world is expanding beyond football. He's becoming a father, he's building a family, and the way he's approaching it, with the same intensity, the same commitment, the same humility, suggests that this is only going to deepen his roots in Buffalo even further. So what is Josh Allen's empire? Really? It's not a real estate portfolio, although those properties certainly exist. It's not a merchandise empire, although his face is on everything. It's not a business empire, although the New Era partnership is genuine. Josh Allen's empire is built on something much simpler and much more powerful. He's the embodiment of what Buffalo has always wanted to be. He's proof that you don't have to be handed success. You can earn it, you can work for it, you can come from nothing and become everything. And when you do, you can stay, you can plant roots, you can give back, you can change a city just by being yourself. That's the real empire. That's the quiet takeover. That's what happens when a man and a city fall in love with each other. Love this video? Click on this card for more.